Hello. Let's see. I'll give it a few minutes. Yeah. This is exciting. Let's see. Make sure it can be seen. All right. Okay. Give it about a minute. All right. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the live, and I'm looking forward to speaking with you all. Thanks, Allison, for joining. I'm happy you're here, and I'm looking forward to just having some other people join in, either watching it live or just looking at the recording. But today, I just wanted to talk briefly about some interview coaching tips and some strategies that you may want to apply before you go on your next interview or as you're trying to land a position. So, again, thank you all for joining. For those of you who do not know, my name is Rashawn Thomas, and I am a licensed clinical social worker, as well as a certified rehabilitation counselor and a certified vocational evaluator specialist. So, basically, what that means is I'm all about all things career and counseling. So, the goal is to help you as you are either transitioning in your career or just trying to figure out your next path, and supporting you along the way. So that's through counseling, providing psychotherapy and techniques to be used to support you while you're coping with your current situation, and also helping you to gain the tools that you would need in order for you to thrive in your next situation. And our goal at Working for a Better You is to equip you and to know that even if you are an expert or a novice and you're new or you're trying to figure out how you want to maneuver in your career, our goal is to equip you to do so. And one of the ways that we're able to help you and support you along the way is through interview coaching, which I will talk about that a little later in the live. But I just wanted to kind of jump on quickly just to talk about some interview tips because I know, we are in a new year. And a lot of times when people come into the new year, they're like, new year, new me, new job, new career. But, those are things that we want to work towards, but sometimes we don't know how to do so, or we may not have the skill set that we might need. It doesn't mean that you're not capable of getting it. It's just knowing what you would need in order for you to be successful. So today I just wanted to come on here just to provide a tip, and not sure if you or someone you know, but you may have heard of the STAR method when interviewing. And the STAR method, it can be intimidating for a lot of people because it's like, oh, I don't know what question they're going to ask me, and I don't know how I should respond. I don't know if I can even remember all of the part of the question that they asked me. I only know one part, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to stay on track or if I can remember some of those things that I did in my previous position. So I wanted to break down the STAR method for you a little bit and also give you a little tip to help you as you're trying to navigate the process. So one, it's important to note that the STAR method is essentially performance-based interview style, and the goal of a performance-based interview style is, if you understand that when you're interviewing, you're not doing the job per se, and they haven't seen you do the job, but the person who is interviewing you or the organization, the company, they want to get a bit of an idea of how you might think, how you may uh, process, what style, what is your natural reaction to certain situations. So their goal is to question you on what you have done in your past, to see have you encountered situations, because yes, it might be a different job, it might be a different field that you are trying to enter, but the reality of it is that you have probably more than likely experienced something similar, or have encountered situations where you've had to work with colleagues, you've had to work with your managers, you've had to learn new tasks, or you've even had to just overcome some challenges while working. And so, by them asking you the STAR method or behavioral, like performance questions, is to gauge that your thinking and your ability to be able to handle situations when they arise. So before I get into any other tips, I just wanted to share, in case you don't know, so sometimes we hear certain terms and don't really know what they really mean. And so the STAR method, it actually refers to the situation, the task, the action that you took, and then the result. So when they're asking you certain questions and they're saying, okay, tell me about a time you had to learn a new skill, and how did you do it, and what was the outcome? So yes, they want to know that you learned a new skill at something. So if you said, okay, I learned how to knit, um, and you learned how to sew, they are, as much as they want to hear you tell a scenario, they really want to understand the process in which you've learned it. So they want to know the situation, what brought it up, what made you have to learn that skill set, what made you have to learn that task. And then they want to know, okay, this was a situation and this was a task, this is something that I needed to learn because my job was saying that we were moving into a new realm, and they wanted some employees to have a certain skill set. So that's the task that you were asked to learn. So you learned how to do that. But then what steps did you take to learn that? So what was your process in learning how to knit? Or what was your process in learning that task? So did you speak with your colleagues to get information? Did you do some research on your own, either through YouTube University, or did you Google some things? Did you talk with others and take a notepad with you to write down notes? How did you start to learn? What action did you take to learn that information? And then they want to know, what was the result behind it. So you describe the situation, you describe the task, you describe what you did, what action you did, and then they want to know, well, okay, so what was the outcome? Was it successful? So was all of your efforts successful in you being able to not only learn the task, but did it help your team? Did it help the mission? Did it help you achieve what they wanted you to achieve? So when you think about the STAR method itself, they're really trying to gauge how you are able to handle yourself in certain situations. Are you able to recall certain tasks that you had to learn or be a part of? Then what steps did you take to learn it? And was it successful? They want to know, was it successful? And if it wasn't successful, what did you learn from that? So when you're approaching the STAR method, and you're like, oh, they're going to ask me these specific questions, how can I handle it, or how should I handle it? That is the route that you want to be thinking about. And though when we think about it, it can be a lot of steps. It can almost feel like, oh, I don't know if I can remember that. But one tip that I want to share with you all, and that I share with my clients during our interview coaching sessions, is to always familiarize yourself with your resume. Yes, we know that you have done certain jobs because it's listed on your resume, and hopefully you're telling the truth. But we know that certain jobs are being completed, but sometimes it's been a long time since you did that job. And you might not remember, you may not recall all of the tasks that you had to do, or all of the challenges that you overcame while you worked that job. So the first thing to do would be to, just go over your resume to make sure. And I always encourage people to pull out scenarios. Think about your resume, review it, think about that time. Remember how you felt in that position. Maybe remember some of the challenges that you went through. Remember some of the projects that you worked on and you were very successful at that. Remember how you put in the effort, or how you went through your training process to learn the job, and recall some of those things, even if you can make little notes to remember, and that'll help you when it comes to thinking of situations. So when they ask you very specific questions, sometimes, of course, we all get nervous. We all feel like, oh, I don't know if it's possible. Oh, I don't know if I even did that. I don't know if I encountered a situation like that. And you may have not encountered a situation directly reflective of the question, but you may have had something similar. So, but if you don't look at your resume, if you don't review what you've done and think about what you've done, then it makes it very difficult. And Allison said I should start to keep a working diary. I think that would be absolutely great. Think about big scenarios, big situations. Like if you can think now of things that you've had to encounter, or something that really made an impact on you. It may have been hard to get through in that moment, but it made an impact on you. So if you can keep that, or keep a mental note of that. I know for myself, I have a great memory in the sense that I can remember a lot, but sometimes even for me, I need to write stuff down to make sure I can remember, or I can recall and reflect on that. So I think keeping a diary, a note, in your phone. We do so many things in our phone. We use our phone for so much. Just being able to keep that in place will help to have, like, just more information, and that you're able to be more confident when you're approaching the situations, and you have more of a set of situations that you've encountered that you can approach the interview with. So one another tip that I wanted to share is, I was working with someone recently, and we were trying to do the STAR method, and they were saying, "Oh, I don't have a situation for that. Oh, I don't have a scenario." Or when they would give when they would give an answer, so tell me about a time you learned a new skill. They would immediately just say, um, "I learned how to do coding," and that's kind of it. And so they said they felt like when they would have the interviews, when they would say that the interviews would kind of be a little short, that it was supposed to last a much longer time, but it ended up being very short, because they felt like, even though they didn't know why per se, they felt like they didn't answer the questions properly. And so one tip that I shared, and I want to share with you all, is when you think about the STAR method, I don't want you to get lost in, oh, I need to make sure I have the S, and I need to make sure I have the T, and I need to make sure that I have, you know, oh, I need to spell out the whole word. Am I spelling it right? Do I have the R? And did I add another part? Do I have the A? Because that can be overwhelming when you're trying to think of, okay, I need to think of the situation. Oh, I need to think of the task. Oh, what steps did I take? And then how did it turn out? What were the results? So I think that one way that can help you is just think of the STAR method as storytelling. When we tell a story, or when we hear a story, we always anticipate the middle. Well, we always not, we don't want to start at the middle, but we always anticipate the beginning, the middle, and the end, right? We want to have a full story, because that way it paints a picture for everyone so they can follow along. Because if you only go for the middle, then they don't know what happened in the beginning, and they don't know what happened in the end. And they're asking you these questions specifically because they want to know what happened, what led you to that point, and then what happened while you got there. Oh, you got in this situation, how did you handle that? And then they want to know, okay, well, what was the result? So let's think about, when it comes to the STAR method in interviewing, instead of being overwhelmed with the whole STAR and trying to make sure you remember every part, just remember to tell a story. They're asking you to tell a story. So by telling a story, you want to have the beginning, middle, and the end. And absolutely, you want to make sure that you have that with great detail. You want them to know the effort that you put in and the experience that you had. So you're giving them a snapshot of what you've had. They haven't worked with you directly. So it's your job to paint that picture. And by painting that picture or telling that story, you're giving them a synopsis. You're letting them know. If they ask, when did you have a project that you worked on that it may have been challenging, but it turned out to be successful? You don't want to just say, oh, yeah, I had a project, or I don't remember if I even actually I didn't have a project. One, you always want to make sure you have an answer. So one way to answer that would say, well, you know what? When I worked as a technician in this role, we had the unit that I was a part of, which every area had their own unit, and the unit that I was a part of had so many alerts, and alerts in our organization was not a great thing. That meant that we were behind on our tasks. So our supervisor tasked us to complete the alerts in a certain amount of time. And initially, it felt very overwhelming. I wasn't sure how we were going to approach it or how to even handle it. But after taking some time, I was able to say, okay, I think these are some things that we can do. So knowing that we had this task that we needed to complete because of our situation that we were in, I decided, okay, let me break down the alerts. So we had about, let's say, 50 alerts that needed to be done within that work week. So essentially, we have 5 days in the work week. So I decided, hey, if we print out 10 alerts every day, and if everyone on the team, which was 5 members, got 2 alerts to handle, then that means that those 10 alerts were able to be completed in that day. So a part of approaching that situation and making sure that it was done was checking in with other staff members, checking in and to see if everyone was able to understand what tasks that they were asked to do, if they knew what alerts that needed to be completed, and if they needed help, just knowing, okay, we can help each other. Like, we had different skill sets that we were able to apply. And by doing that, by the end of the week, which was Friday, we were able to get them completed before the workday was finished. And our supervisor was extremely pleased, and we were able to complete all 50 alerts within that week. And it turned out to be a very positive experience for all of us because we knew what we had accomplished, and we knew what had to be done. So as you can see, that is an example of the STAR method, but essentially just telling a story, just making sure that I'm going from the beginning to the middle and then to the end. And I'm making sure to include the details because that way, whoever is listening, remember, they may have not been a part of that. They may not understand what you did. So breaking things down in a way that the listener and the interviewer can understand, then they're able to follow along, and they're invested, and they're able to see your skill set. And even though you might feel like, oh, I don't know if I hit the STAR method perfectly, but if you can remember to tell a story and remember the 3 parts of a story, the beginning, the middle, and the end, that will help you to get through the STAR method and making sure that they understand the effort that you put in. I think that would be extremely helpful for each of you, and it's just important to factor in. And Allison, you said they really speak, but yes, exactly. It would definitely allow you to shine in an interview. And hi, Auntie Sandra, it's good to see you. And sometimes, in order for you to grow, if you want, if you have your own organization, if you're trying to hire people, these are things that you want to also look for. And this gives you some pointers as to what to expect. So I just wanted to kind of come on here just to share that. Just remember always the main 2 tips that I wanted to share with you today is to always, always, always review your resume. Pull out situations. Allison, she brought up a great point about just keeping a work diary. When you have big events or experiences that come up, you're welcome to just make a note of it so that when you have information about a scenario that you may have encountered or something similar, you never know how you can pull information from a scenario to be more applicable to a situation that they're asking. So it's important that you know your resume in order for you to be more flexible when they're asking you questions. And then the second thing, when you think about the STAR method, don't overwhelm yourself thinking you have to know every single letter and you have to remember all of each step. Just remember to tell a story, and you want to go from the beginning, the middle, and the end. And if you could tell a story with great detail, then that covers all you need when it comes to the STAR method. And so I just wanted to come on here and say that. And of course, if you feel like you need additional help or you want some more personalized support and more detailed information provided for you and what you feel like you might lack during an interview and you would like to improve, you're more than welcome to follow up with us. You can either reach us with our contact information in our bio, or you're welcome to just leave a comment, and we'll be more than happy to help you. We actually provide interview coaching with the whole process, and we have a strategy that we teach called the REST method. And I know when you think about interviewing, you probably don't think about rest because you're feeling anxious and stressed, but our goal is to help you to know that you may not know the questions, but you have all the answers, and we will equip you and provide you the tools, the feedback, and the resources you need in order to be successful on your next interview. So, like I said, if you have any specific questions about it or you want to sign up, you're welcome to email, call, or just send a message. You can do that through our TikTok, you can do that through our Instagram, our Facebook page, or our YouTube page, and we'll be more than happy to help you out. So before we go, we just wanted to see if anybody had any other questions or any comments, and then we will let you go and enjoy the rest of your day. But we definitely appreciate you just kind of just joining us. And yes, I will share contact information inside of the chat, and then I'll also pin contact information, but you can email us at working the number 4a better you, the letter U, at gmail.com with any of your questions, and we'll be more than happy to get back in touch with you and contact with you. So I have added it in the chat, and I have pinned the email address for you all. Thanks for that, Allison. Definitely included that. And of course, you can start by just emailing us, and we'll be happy to follow up with you. Okay. But again, thanks for joining the live, and we definitely will have more tips and information that you will need with all things regarding your career, just coping and just trying to thrive in a great setting. And yeah, I don't know if I could share the TikTok page here. But I will try to see if I can add it in the description for those who are rewatching the video. So I'll try to make sure that that's included, as well as the Instagram page. But again, thank you all. And again, I'm Rashawn Thomas with Working for a Better You Career and Counseling Services, where we are um, professionally and personally yours. Thank you and have a great one. Okay.